Message received from the alleged Saturn-level Galactic Federation, and our answer. Hello, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are very well today. I am Marie. Welcome to my channel. This information can be seen as science fiction, or as the viewer sees best, and I post it for entertainment purposes only. Still, I take my information very seriously, and for whoever has eyes to see. I am writing this in English on the morning of June 18, 2025. Part of it was written by CIC members on the night of June 17, 2025. First of all, although we use the name Galactic Federation, we are not New Age representatives of it. We are not among those who impose a false narrative of a benevolent federation of love and light, which in an oversimplified way, is always about to save humanity, because humanity cannot be saved in that manner, as its problems are the result of the matrix they are in, and which is being generated by their very citizens. The people of Earth are the matrix, and what is happening there is the result of the average level of consciousness awareness of the general population and of what they manifest through their collective unconscious. In other words, humanity must learn to save itself, at a personal and at a collective level. We cannot go in to show ourselves directly and at a large scale, because it would do more harm than good, and humanity would have learnt nothing, and what is worse, it would repeat its mistakes, as I have explained in detail many times before. Having said that, we are in a moral and ethical obligation to remove what is interfering with the natural course of development of humanity. We are forced to act within space law to remove whoever and whatever is acting in an exploitative, abusive manner against humankind, by force if necessary. That we can do, and we are hard at work with it. This among a few other things we can do directly. If you have been following me for a while, you know exactly what I am talking about. We are your friends, not your saviors, except for a few exceptions. You must learn to save yourselves and each other, as individuals and as a society. There is no other way. I am saying this yet again for the new people who are listening to me, and some of whom think they are in the know. Things in space and concerning extraterrestrials and the Galactic Federation, whatever name it is used, are extremely complicated, far more than what you have been told, and I have been trying to explain this to my audience in nearly 1,000 videos, and in 2 languages. Now, with what concerns us in this video. As a short context, during the past few days to weeks, the triad which is made by Antaria, Urmah, and Taygeta with the Alcyone Council, has taken control over the Earth's airspace, or space, also removing the Galactic Federation representatives, which had been functioning as such until just a few days ago. We have taken over and we have proclaimed ourselves as the local Galactic Federation level, which oversees everything that concerns planet Earth. This was achieved legally, by the book, and following strict space law, although unfortunately, the use of force was inevitable. The higher up level of the Galactic Federation is officially based on planet Saturn, on its moons or somewhere in that vicinity, and this uncertainty is part of their ever-present obscurity. They had been transmitting in muon frequencies from somewhere in that general region, but due to the very nature of muon, coded gravity, transmissions, it is impossible to determine its true origin, as it is only the information the transmitter includes in the message itself what informs the receiver who and where it was transmitted from. A muon transmission is, inherently, everywhere at once, transcending distances and locations. Therefore, a rangefinder, like the ones used for radio waves, or any other detection device, cannot determine the transmitter's location, as a muon-coded gravity message is technically not even in the so-called material world, as it travels like a wave through hyperspace. The shady Saturn-level Galactic Federation has been giving orders that way directly to its 12 representatives who were in the Andromedan biosphere ship Viera for a very long time, until we came in to remove them a few days ago. Their messages are always one way. No one can answer them, no one can ask them a simple question, as there is no frequency to respond with. Answers have also been transmitted in the same frequency as the sender, with no response, a frequency that always changes, by the way. In other words, they only give orders, which must be blindly obeyed and nothing more. The shady Saturn-level Galactic Federation has not bothered to talk to us directly until now that it sent us a message, which is the reason for this video. This next part, I translated into English, but I did not write it. It is the work of several people in my CIC team on board starships Aldebaran and Alcyone. Start. After the events in the Andromedan biosphere ship Viera over the past few days, we received a message from the Saturn level of the Galactic Federation in Andromedan language that translates as, "You are not legally permitted to interfere in Antarctica. Interference there will cause you to be dismissed as the local federation." Our response, broadcast via muons on all frequencies, is this. To anyone who will listen, we have received a message claiming that some group identified as a Saturn-level Galactic Federation, whoever they may be, and they believe themselves to be superior to us and our authority within this solar system. Yet, paradoxically, they are so cowardly and obscure that we do not know where to direct our response. Consequently, owing to their own ineffectiveness, we are compelled to leave our message everywhere to ensure it reaches them. This obviously includes my YouTube channel. The received message does have the correct identification code that validates it as from the same group that has been sending one-way messages to the former 12 local Galactic Federation members in the Viera, who have recently been removed from office. The reply message. Thank you for officially recognizing us as the new local Federation administration, for whatever it's worth. We regret to inform you that, since we have no open communication with you, since we do not know who you are, what your ethical and ideological framework is, not even your names, much less your agendas, we cannot recognize you as our bosses, as you wish. And we cannot grant you recognition as part of the Galactic Federation. We cannot recognize you as having any authority above ours or as equals, since you have done nothing to safeguard justice, peace, ethics, or security in this sector. If you are the ones giving orders to the previous administration, you would be the reason we have felt compelled to step forward to restore balance in this sector, due to your shady actions, which have resulted in misdeeds and injustices both on Earth itself and in other star systems. Antarctica, as the base of operations and coordination of Federation affairs on Earth, both on the surface and below, is part of the territory that rightfully belongs to us on planet Earth. It is part of our legal jurisdiction. Therefore, we inform you that we will always act following the ethics and laws that affect us all. To you, whoever you may be, know that any attempt to impede or interfere with our operations to restore legality and justice in this sector will be responded to, proportionately and appropriately. Sincerely and with love, the Triad. Signed by King Lina Rua of Avian, representing the Urmah people of the star Vega and their entire confederation. Ambassador, as Ed Nydia of Antaria, representing the Antarian nation. And Queen Marie, first of Taygeta, representing the Taygetan nation and the Alcyone Council. End of message. This is Marie again. The next part of this video is only for YouTube. I will next analyze the message received, so I will say it again, Quote, "You are not legally permitted to interfere in Antarctica. Interference there will cause you to be dismissed as the local federation." End quote. First, notice how brief the message is, and its total lack of protocol, especially of pleasantries. It is direct and to the point, and it gives me the impression that it was written by someone angry or very upset. Or it was written by someone who has a total disregard for observed and respectful protocol, which is always observed when sending messages among different star nations and races. Someone who wouldn't care less about how other people, other entire races and their cultures see them. It is coming from someone cold and unemotional and with a serious superiority complex. At first, we may conclude that it could be a cold artificial intelligence that sent that message, but I am now leaning towards someone biological, because even artificial intelligences use protocol and even pleasantry wording, even if it may be only for manipulative purposes. I believe it comes from someone in a biological body who is either very angry, or lacks emotions altogether, such as the Autorthans, the tall greys, an iguanoid, or any variant of those. Notice how the message is to the point, and centered on what matters to the sender and nothing else, and it was sent as something they decided was necessary. The point is Antarctica, and to stop us from going anywhere near there. It was written with a clear authority tone, like an angry parent imposing something forbidden upon a child, and it ends with a clear threat, also denoting or transmitting an image of power, of being able to overthrow us, even easily. I will repeat the message for clarity, quote, "You are not legally permitted to interfere in Antarctica. Interference there will cause you to be dismissed as the local federation." End quote. Notice the word, interference, makes us wonder, interfere with what or with whom? First, thought would be, not to interfere with the governments of Earth, who are there in Antarctica, the government behind all governments, the Cabal, but the way it is worded makes me feel that it also means that we should not interfere with whoever sent that message. So either it was the Cabal who sent it, or who sent it is part of the Cabal, or is who is managing and leading the Cabal. I notice fear in the message as well. Perhaps that's why whoever sent it is angry, as they know that our next move could be to enter Antarctica by force. After all, whatever happens there would be well out of what the people of Earth would be able to see on their own. Therefore, any events there would not interfere with the so-called surface civilization of Earth, and therefore, would not be protected by the Prime Directive. Yet having said that, and this is important, we are also aware that space law does not permit us to enter a place which has been officially marked and recognized as part of the Galactic Federation level, which is above the one we represent. And this rule or regulation does not have anything to do with the Prime Directive. On the other hand, we do not recognize the very authority that has marked Antarctica as such a place, because of the obscurity they have repeatedly demonstrated, and because of that lack of transparency, we cannot take for real all the codes and seals that accompany their messages, and that are set there to validate them as Galactic Federation members who are supposedly on a level above ours. And the final point analyzing the message is that we can see that whoever sent it has been forced to recognize us, the Antaria, Urmah, Taygeta Alcyon Council, Triad, as the local Galactic Federation, the one that oversees all affairs concerning planet Earth. And this is thanks to our doing everything, legally, and by the book. Right before I finished preparing this text, and taking into account that the message contained in this video was aired in muon frequencies several hours before, we received one more Saturn-level Federation message, responding to ours. It contains only 4 words and nothing else other than the same Federation codes that supposedly validates it. It reads, "You have been warned. End of message." Again, it is a highly arrogant communication coming from an unempathetic entity. My response is again, we have no ethical or legal obligation to follow any orders or directives coming from an entity that has not bothered to fully identify itself, and that does not tolerate a two-way communication between us all. We will act accordingly. This will be all for today. As always, thank you for watching my video, and for liking, sharing, and subscribing for more. It helps this channel grow a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. With much love and appreciation, your friend, Queen Marie, 1st of Taygeta.